Now, there is no specific way of creating the structure, the folder structure in React. But then all of this is for the purpose of having a clean and organized project. This is very essential, as in the long run, your project will start growing big. So you need a way that's going to contain the project, you know, and any future uh, addition that's going to come into the project still needs to be synced and not loose. All right, so that's one of the reasons we have folders in our React application. Now, as I said, there is no definite way of creating our React folder structure. So let's take a look at one way, one of the reasons, right? How do you even create your folder structure in React? Okay, so let's see. Now, still inside of the source folder, SRC, we are going to look at why do we even need to create these things? No, we know it said that React is component based. Right, so that means in our project we're going to have need of creating components. Right? Okay, so that be the case. So I'm going to say I'm going to create a folder which I'm going to name component. Now, this simply means that every single component I'm going to be creating for this application is going to be inside of this component folder. Right? Now, this is just a single page application, right? Just app.jsx. Now, what if I decide to build an agency website? Or what if I decide to build a web app which is going to have multiple pages? So that means I'll need a folder which is going to contain all of those pages specifically. So still under the source, I'm going to create a folder which I'm going to name pages. Right. You're seeing how we're coming about these folder names. Now, there are things which also needs to be added to this project. Now, take for example, React have hooks. Now we can build a custom hook. That custom hook is simply a function that is reusable in the entire application. Right, let's use that word reusable. So I can create a function that opens up a modal, right, in different places. So just create a function once, create a hook once, and then reuse it in different places, in different components in the entire application. So I define it once and make use of it in different places. So I can still have a hook. So every single hook I'm going to be having in my application is going to be stored. It's going to be inside of here. Right. Now, this is coming up, right? Now, let's say we have need for context management. Yeah, all of this will be talked about. Context management. You need to manage when a user switch from dark theme to light theme in your application. That's one of the use of context. Or you want to use context to manage your login, the login functionality, logging out, storing of token and everything. You want to use your context to manage it. Same thing can also happen here. We're going to have a context folder. Right, so everything that pertains to context is going to be inside of this context folder. Right. So I think yeah, and then let's say we're going to have some configuration later on. So I'm going to have a config folder. Here is going to contain any configuration we're going to have, possibly for our API configuration, or if there's anything that's going to be needed. That's it. And then now let's say we're going to be having dummy data on our project. Data. I'm going to name this data. So I can have say product data, right? Product data dot JS. So I can simply define, my product data inside of here. Now you've seen how we've come about all of these projects, all of these folder names, right? All of them have definite meaning and what should be inside of respective folders. So you don't go beyond and add something that's not meant to be in that particular project folder. You don't make the mistake of having your hooks inside of components. You don't make the mistake of having your context inside of pages. See, everything have been clearly defined. So anytime you need to access any context, you know the particular folder to look for it. If you need to access any hook, you know the folder to look for it. If you're looking for pages, you know the folder rather to go into to search for pages in your application. All right. Okay, good. So that's it. We move on to next step.